and welcome to yet another episode, I can't believe we made it to 2 of these, of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reported. Once again, I'm John.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris. I'm New.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Philip.
And we are going to be, yet again, discussing Final Fantasy XIV. Big shock. With us today, we have Chris, who's new. He was not in last week's podcast. So we're going to go ahead and let him introduce himself a bit, talk about his main role, why he's into Final Fantasy XIV, all that jazz. Chris, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm a level 50 White Mage. I love healing.
Best in server!
Best in server!
Not telling you what server.
It makes me feel important. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV since release, and it reminds me a lot of WoW, so I like MMOs like WoW, so that's why I play it.
Alrighty then. Last week, before we get to what we were talking about last week, we're going to go ahead and kind of continue from where our conversation led on several points. Last week we brought up the hard mode primals, and they're kind of old news now. They're a little dated.
Been a little
Very
news for a while.
dated.
Even last week they were old news.
I mean, they're new news to me because I, just got through them. But for everyone else, especially among this, round table we have here, so the table is round. It's Extreme's the thing. So, Philip, how about you start us off on the Extreme Primals, your takes, etc.
I mean, they seem. I honestly like how difficult the fights are. Having a hard time with a few of them, but I don't Titan primarily. But I don't know. I like them. They're challenging. I like how they kind of challenge one role in each fight. So it's pretty cool.
That is actually a really fun thing about the extremes, because I mean, it's like before the fights, everything else was pretty generic. I mean, you had your healers, you had your tanks, you had your DPS, and everyone had their job to do. But you can just kind of wing it. But this time, there's no winging it. You have to try really hard.
You always need 2 tanks for everything.
Unless you're hardcore.
Apparently, Titan, you don't need one.
And I could do 1 tank, 1 healer. I saw that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like 4-minute run.
4-minute run. Exactly. Imagine the farming on that. It's ridiculous.
And the deaths.
And the deaths.
And
Many
the deaths.
Many deaths. Yeah, because one of our link shells did it, apparently, and it took them 10 times to do it. 10. And for the strategy for Titan, 1 heal, 1 tank, is that for the gals, how the healer used to go in the back with the gal, and the tank DPS would go in front, and now they switch. You can't have the healer in there for too long or everybody dies.
There's no revive.
You die once, you don't.
I got a question though. On the extreme mode, Titan, he puts a debuff on the tank. How do you get rid of that?
Well, the debuff he only puts on the debuff with Mountain Buster for the first until I think post hard he doesn't do it anymore.
He doesn't
right?
do it. He doesn't.
No, he only does it.
So you kind of have it's a kind of a race to get through.
Okay,
Yeah,
get
that's why.
up to heart. Yeah,
that's why. Okay.
Does he put the debuff during heart? I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
he doesn't.
No, he doesn't?
count,
Okay.
though.
I haven't
You still
seen
see
that
it.
lately.
You see the
No.
You
number.
still see it until it runs out, pretty much.
But
Yeah.
he doesn't
stack
reapply.
it.
It's 30 seconds though, isn't it?
So
Like 30,
basically,
40
it's just a race to heart at
Yeah,
that
it's a race
point.
to
So you probably get
You need amazing
3 or 4
DPS.
stacks maybe.
Yeah.
Just poop on the
You need
tank.
amazing DPS and
And an
amazing
amazing
healer.
healer.
Yeah.
And amazing gear tank to have the HP to survive it. So it just needs to be an amazing party.
Well, since you have 2 extra DPS, they can.
Yeah, they can just.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, maybe the DPS is like a bit. I don't know.
So,
Nick.
Chris, out of all of us, you're the only person in the unique position to talk about all 3 of
Yes.
the Extreme Primals. What was kind of the whole, series of fights and everything? What were some of the biggest issues you ran into, player-wise, game-wise?
For Garuda, it was always the tanks that were screwed up. Because they would one tank would have Spiny Plume and then they'd forget to provoke it, or I would have it because I would be healing and I'd take all the hate from the Spiny and they'd forget to take it off me. But after that, I just said, screw it, I'm going to solo heal it. So I tried solo healing it and it worked. And I like doing that better than 2 healing it.
I've been in those parties with the solo healing with Chris, and it definitely moves
just
a
goes
lot
so
quicker.
fast.
It's so much faster,
Yeah.
so much better.
For Titan, that took so many times. I had to do it with the that social link show in order to beat it, and I was up to let's say 4 o'clock in the morning trying
wow.
to do it.
Oh my goodness.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and then the next day I tried Ifrit, and that's hard for healers. Because they get a debuff called Searing Wind, which when they get it, they have to stay far away from the DPS and tanks, because they get like an AoE thing that shoots off of them that does like 2,000 damage and knocks back. So you have to like stay away, but it like alternates between the healers. So like if one healer doesn't have it, they can go in and AoE the party, AoE heal the party, they can run out like that. But then the hard part is the charges. Those charges when you have the because you still have the Searing Wind debuff on, so you can't be with everybody else when they're going like along their path. You have to like go to like the 3rd Ifrit and then run that way. It's
geez.
intense.
Yeah, I remember from the announcement of the Extreme Primals, seeing you get to, and normally when you fight Ifrit, you have to deal with 1 to, what is it, 5 or 4 or 3?
3.
Charging.
Yeah, 3.
Across the field, but in Extreme, isn't it like up to 12 or?
No,
it's
not.
it's 5.
Full
It's 5,
Oh.
but
It takes
however,
up half the.
you can no longer stack between the Ifrits like you used
Yeah.
to. And
Okay.
he takes up like more than half the field, if not more.
So,
Oh goodness.
Every time he charges forward, so you have to run alongside clockwise with him.
But honestly, once you get like here, this is how it works. You have the first Ifrit, second, third, fourth. The first Ifrit's gonna be getting ready to charge. You just kind of all stack
Next
to the right of it, and then as soon as he goes, you just run right along the path. You don't even have to stop. So it's really easy for DPS.
All right. Well,
Yes.
Primals aside, it's not something I'm really looking forward to. I'd be in panic mode the whole time.
We'll have fun, Chuck.
You as your melee.
Coming up
that's
soon, we
what-
have. It seems like a different event every time I blink in this game.
Which is fun.
I enjoy it. It adds some flavor to it. We have obviously the Valentine's Day event coming up. That looks interesting, though we don't really have any information on it outside of the aprons.
You can see the clothing.
Clothing
You see the clothing
functions.
and the items you get.
And it's in limb cell.
I think it's kind of
It's
neat
a-
that a heart forms around people. I mean,
Right.
maybe that's just a picture and they're trying to show you that, or maybe it actually does that. If it actually does that, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then, of course, there's the Little Ladies Day event, which I have no idea what that even means.
Yeah, me neither.
My brain is going to, so female Lollapels get something? I don't know.
We need to
I want more information on this Little Ladies Day.
The live letter is on YouTube, so we just need to get our handy dandy Japanese translator to watch that segment.
Oh, yes.
And see if he can tell us what's going on.
Him.
Him.
And also, I mean, I've done this at least 30 plus times. I'm sure everyone at the table has run this particular event many a time. The Lightning Strikes event is coming back because Lightning returns in more ways than one this week.
Got everything.
I'm going to be focusing on getting the rest of the weapons I didn't get because I'm already decked out to look like snow.
There we go.
I might get I might focus on getting the rest of the weapons I
And
didn't get.
actually
I haven't
start
decided. I
getting
kind of was very lazy. I went through the whole event and
I
so I
missed
kind
that
of like,
whole event actually, so I'm looking
ah,
forward to
weapon
it.
farming, waiting for face. This is no thanks.
I like the event. It's fun to
Just
me.
waiting for the one fade
The
over.
first time I did it and Chaos Bahamut showed up, I was very happy. The 30th time, I was like, this takes an hour. Can we just go? I'm so done with this. But I'm excited for it to come back. Not so much to fight Chaos Bahamut because I won't be going anywhere near what was it called? Agent of Chaos or something? Figment of Chaos, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing the level 1 fate because that's where I get all the stuff I care about. So last week we discussed the binding coil of Bahamut a couple times. I believe we brought up doing turn 5 or attempting turn 5 at some
Fuck that
point
nonsense.
this week.
So
That
horrible.
did not really go too well.
Try a learning party.
Guys, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Alright, so we tried to get a learning party together, and we didn't get very far.
We made it only to the second phase.
I made it to the 3rd phase.
Oh,
I
aren't
did it on
you
my own.
special?
I meant, yeah. It
We
sucks.
made it to the second phase only. The
we
party
couldn't
which
get
had
the-
no idea what they were doing. We kind of knew what we were doing, But like no one was really communicating with each other.
We couldn't really get the stacking for the conflagration.
The second phase
Yeah.
is actually the hardest
I
phase
could-
of the fight. Possibly.
Well, we couldn't. Well, that's where we're stuck on. So, I guess
We'll get there eventually.
we'll get there eventually.
We just have to put the time into it.
Yeah, we gotta form a group that we can get with it. Not just randoms. It's very hard with just random people. We didn't even have like any team speak or anything going on between this party,
Just
so it's
type
all
everything
typing
out.
everything out. And
Oh, that
one was-
doesn't
no,
take time.
No one was really communicating in the fight, and it just.
I got you.
People just do the opposite of what you tell them to
Yeah,
do.
we would tell them we would try to like organize these how we stacked it for I forgot what the name of the move was.
Conflagration.
No, the other.
Oh, for like the marks?
Yeah,
like the red
yeah,
mark
the
and the
one
blue mark or
I don't remember
something.
what it is. I'm not too familiar with Turn 5, but we were trying to get people stacked, and you just constantly see like two of our DPS were constantly like switching between the two, and we're like, no, we're stacking for a reason.
It's one of those things. It's like when you deal with randoms, this is kind of what happens.
You
know?
kind of need.
This is kind of a weakness for an audio medium.
Yeah.
Those of you listening / staring at whatever artwork we put on the screen at home are missing out on the dynamic hand gestures and descriptive movements that are going on over on our end. So that was turn 5 in a nutshell. It's a little bit of an interpretive dance of Coil of Bahamut. You can't see it, but we're all doing pirouettes right now and dynamic hand movements a la Great Saiyaman
Right.
and any variety of Super Sentai for those of you who know that. So anyway, I think that's about it for turn 5. How about we had the horrible timing of doing our first episode hours before the release of information on 2.2. So I promised an additional episode. I'm posting 1 and 2 simultaneously, so you're still technically getting it, even though in our time it's been a week. So 2.2 takes on what little bits of information we got from that.
I can't wait for Leviathan.
I also cannot wait for Leviathan.
Oh.
We're gonna die lots of times.
One of my favorite Final Fantasy summons. I'm so excited.
Leviathan.
Coil 6 through 9.
That too.
Yeah, that too. That's pretty exciting.
Good King Mog Extreme.
Good King Mog Extreme. The dailies for the Beastmen.
Oh.
So yes, Kobold and Sahagin are getting their time
own thing,
to
yeah.
point you in directions around the world and
Well, not even around the
basically
world,
make
in
you
the
their
one
bitch.
area they're in.
And turn 1 through 5 being repeatable now.
Yeah, turn 1 to 5 being
So now you can
farmable.
just
Because
get-
you didn't get enough of it the first
With the
time.
power of the echo.
Now you can get all
Yeah,
your,
but I mean,
Elegant.
see, honestly, a lot of people are upset about it, but I'm not really upset with it because, to be honest with you, there's gonna be new gear anyways. I already talked about introducing a new tombstone. This is gonna
Yeah.
be like, honestly, I think I-90 is gonna be the entry level for these new
For sure.
new
Definitely.
turns, new everything. So
Mm.
just another thing we have to farm up.
Yeah, 'cause they want to make the higher level turns in turns in Coil to be very difficult. They want you to have they want you to have your team on TeamSpeak or your free company actually actively working to get
And-
these done, not
and
just
with good
And
gear.
how
with
annoying
good
would it
gear.
be?
They don't
Basic
want
gear.
they don't want a random group of people beating the later Coil turns because then it would just take away from any
Yeah.
difficulty
How
they
annoying
have.
would it be
These
though if
things.
you wanted to try to start it now and then you should go only farm coil once per week? That's why I think it's good that they're letting
Yeah.
people
Right.
farm it now.
'Cause I've been doing it for like 3 weeks and I haven't done anything.
Yeah, we've been farming coil for like 3, I think 4, I know
Almost
this is
four.
the
This is
fourth
the
week. This is the
fourth
4th week we've been farming coil, and literally not a single healer drop has dropped for these two.
The only
Yet
one that
I've dropped like casting drops have dropped for
Didn't
us.
you get one though? You got one.
Yeah, I got a casting drop. Also got something else too.
He's the only lucky one.
Yeah, the
And
lucky-
you too. You
Well, I got the. Yeah, I'm gonna use a dexterity ring on my healer.
No, I said
Accuracy.
No, boots. Didn't
You
you
got a
get
dexterity ring?
Hmm? Yeah.
When'd you have a
For
dexterity
for
ring?
the bard.
Why'd you get that ring?
I don't know.
Sure.
It just happened.
I just read it at random.
When did
you
No,
get
but
that?
I did get my healer boots actually.
When did you
I
get
opened
that?
up my inventory and there it was. I don't know how I
Why
got
did you
there.
farm for? Why didn't you let me get it?
Because everybody greeted.
So?
You were like that. You're like the last one. You're like number 1.
Sure.
You're like 1.
It's one of those things.
A lot of like 37.
Since the last podcast from last week, I started doing coil, so I haven't done anything. And that's always fun when you're trying to, learning the coil turns was very easy, but then once you actually start doing them and getting no items. It's a little disheartening.
It's so annoying. 'Cause then
Especially like your one time.
That's
you
your
do this
one time.
you
of
go
the
through
week.
like 5 times trying to do turn 1 and you get nothing.
Yeah, like
Except
let's
50
just say-
mythos.
Yeah.
And you're already capped.
We've seen a lot of monk and lancer parts.
Yes.
That's all I've seen.
That's all.
Man, I need to start running that.
Yeah, that's exactly like I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like, man, I wish John was geared for this. Every time we run
It's like
co-op,
my
he's like,
curse every time we run CT, straight monk items.
yeah, but we've seen nothing but lancer,
I've seen nothing but Lancer.
tank,
Bad.
and monk. And
Same.
usually we never have one. Like it's funny. Every time we have a monk part drops, we have a
We don't
lancer
have
on
a
our team.
monk.
And every time the lancer part drops, we don't have a monk on our team.
You
It's like
should just greed on the monk.
it's like everything's just great. It's like everyone just looks at it's like anyone want it? Everyone's just like nah, no one needs it in our party. And we're like free greed.
Exactly.
And or it's all like thrown away. Everybody just like wasted gear. I guess.
That's the
Well,
worst.
not really.
thing.
Like usually, I even if unless someone wants it, usually I still greed on it.
For the
I'd
time
rather
being-
not see the gear wasted.
No, but for the time like we spent on, well, I'm sure me and Chris have spent on CT. I haven't seen one healer gloves, not one.
I have gloves.
So
You
it's
have?
I
CT
have
now.
gloves.
Have you seen
I
it?
haven't seen them. I've never seen
But for me, I have the healer gloves and top piece, the body piece. I just need.
Oh,
I
I
need.
mean,
If I
I
farm
need-
CT once a week, I get a one piece.
I've
I would
seen
like to
the-
have like
the
gloves
circlet
or
ones
boots.
that I got
I mean,
in.
boots or the pants. I can't. Never.
That's
never
my
drop.
issue with CT. I mean, I'm not. Dragoon parts come fairly often in CT. I've never seen a healing item drop. I think once.
CT has become my least favorite dungeon.
Dungeon to do.
Seriously, like
I'm
just
For
looking
some
forward to
reason, it's
extensions
gotten
on it.
worse.
It like gets progressively worse.
Yeah.
for
Like-
people.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's as the more time Crystal Tower has been playable, the player base has gotten worse at it.
I don't know. I think people are
Nothing's
trolling.
changed.
I just think people are trolling.
Nobody's learning.
It's not people. It's people get lazy. Like you know how many
Oh,
times
true.
there have been times where like I'm supposed to be healing people and I'm texting on my phone and it's like everyone's just taking damage. I'm like, oh, I'm
oops.
fighting. Oops. And they're like,
Oops.
let me cast a couple heal spells. Like, I'm back to texting. It's become a lazy farm place for people.
It's true. One time while fighting King Behemoth, I fell asleep, but my hand kept doing my rotations, and I open up to see the meteor fall in front of me. So that was fun.
That's always fun. So that's
so many
I
trials of
died.
King Behemoth.
I've done King Behemoth fights where we've lost. One time we lost all of our rocks to the Iron Giant.
That happens
And
a lot now.
When the meter's rising, you just see the whole entire 24 people running around like, where's the rock? Oh, we have none. It's just like,
Meanwhile, the Iron Giant's still alive,
Still
frolicking
alive.
around, spinning out, killing people.
I love it when people put them all at his butt.
Oh, I believe it's fun.
And then you're just standing there like,
you're like, there's no way I'm
there's
supposed.
no way I'm gonna live.
Well, because the meteor is falling on me.
yes.
So I don't think the rock.
Survival
being in front of
is
me
no.
is gonna work.
The meteor, is falling on me, and the meteor's actually going to be on both sides of the rock
Have
that
a
I'm on.
negative 10%
So yeah,
chance
there's
of surviving.
no way I'm going to win.
Yeah, that happens.
No,
So-
the people seem to think that putting it right behind Behemoth is a smart idea.
There is one thing I will give Final Fantasy XIV credit for that 11 never did, is they really cater to fanboy nostalgia so hard. I mean, Crystal Tower having all those Final Fantasy III bosses.
Pretty awesome.
I mean, the Hildebrand mission, not hinting, but straight up shoving Gilgamesh in your face.
Spoiler alert.
I mean,
Well,
that
yeah.
is a spoil, but it's little things like that I love. I mean, just getting to fight with lightning was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And how all their special, like all the special events where they're like themed from other games.
Shantoto.
Yeah, Shantoto from 11. They had all the 11 sound effects,
Yeah.
art put into it.
Shantoto looked
I mean,
like
Shantoto looked like she was literally just plucked out of 11 and put in
Exactly.
there. I didn't see any difference in graphics.
Yeah.
Except for her moves or spells.
You're supposed to.
Well,
But I
yeah.
think it'd be really interesting if they did that with most of the Final Fantasy games, like anniversary-wise. I mean, Final Fantasy IX is my favorite game. Could you imagine during
Yes.
the Final Fantasy IX anniversary month, they have like Final Fantasy IX events. They drop
I know
freaking date in
at
there.
least 3 out of 5 of us
Right.
right now would probably live on that event.
Right? Imagine it's like, oh, Final Fantasy IX, get like Black Mage to get a VV hat.
You know, it'd be amazing if they had a Blitzball mini game.
Fund it.
That would be amazing.
That would be actually really
That would be
amazing.
awesome.
What would, I mean, that would be neat. I think if anything, you might get like a little blitzball minion or something.
That'd be so adorable.
It would never leave my team.
Just
or
rolling
leave
alongside
me.
you.
But that's what
It
we said
would.
about the Shantoto minion also. And
I haven't used it once.
I mean,
I used that cat though.
I use all my minions, but it's just like it's cool because you're in town. Like I have a minion, but then you're in battle. It's like
They disappear.
it's
gone.
alright.
Went away.
You know?
They're definitely catering to, because that's the thing. If you're playing a Final Fantasy Online game, you've played most of the other games more than likely.
Exactly.
So that type of fan service is appreciated, I think,
Mhm.
overall.
I agree.
We have a unique situation tonight. We have 3 primary healers
Oh boy.
among us, so I want to give them a little bit of time to kind of talk about their experiences in healing role, maybe see which role is better. I don't know.
If you're talking about healing, honestly,
Kind of sees where it goes.
like as a scholar, like White Mages is sometimes there are times where you're doing some type of primal or a dungeon or something, and you're like, oh, I'm healing people for a little bit. Then the White Mage is just gonna run in, it's like mass heal everybody, and you feel a little bit inadequate. You know, I mean, as a scholar, we do have our advantages, so I'm not trying to knock us, but White Mages can sometimes they can knock you down a peg a couple, you know, when you're just doing a dungeon.
Not to kind of compare, but I feel that way all the time as a Dragoon. Anytime there's a Black Mage or a Bard or a Monk
Yeah.
or a Summoner or a Marauder
Or anything. Or anything that's
Or
not
any
a Dragoon.
anything other than Dragoon, I kind of feel we have bottom of the damage end, even though we're
Right.
damage dealers.
There was a funny comic on Reddit that I saw that you also saw, Phil, where it was showing like how to tank, and one of the things it says, "Do you understand how hate and enmity works?" And if you
Oh,
put
yeah.
no, it says just play Dragoon.
Go back to playing Dragoon.
That's like, I thought that was hilarious.
I love Dragoon. It's fun for me to play, but nope, not much damage. But anyway, this is healer time.
This is healer time. But like,
Dragoon time.
like I was saying,
Dragoon
White
time
Mages,
comes later,
you know,
alone in the shadows, with
For-
me crying.
For me, I do, you know, I've been doing Titan Extreme for the past week, and when Titan does it's from stomps to his jump to anything, it's like, you know, as a scholar, you're like, Sakura, everyone heals for 800 damage, whatever. And then, like, you know, then the White Mage is just like, you don't even need to be here. It's just like, alright,
Cure 3.
Cure 3,
1500 health.
Medic 2.
Sakura does like 400 max
I know.
probably.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
What a crit.
If you
is,
crit,
right?
it's probably like 500, 600.
That's true, that's the last
This guy's medical 3,000.
If it crits, it's like 2500.
I still hate though.
It's like, it's okay, guys, I have sacred soil. Alright.
Oh yeah, I also get benediction, which heals somebody to full health.
Lush. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like we have lustrate, 3 charges of lustrate, which does 25% of someone's
75
max
max.
HP. Or something like that. Is it 75 or 20? I think
It's 25, but if you use it all, it's
3.
75.
It's like on a 1 minute cooldown. It's just like, alright, we have that. So it's like, you just need to be full health.
The only thing I hate about benediction is that it has like a second lag before it actually goes
Lustrate
off.
has that too.
And like the tank has like say
Wait,
100 health
100
left,
health?
and you're just like benediction, and then he dies, and you're like, what?
You just wasted it.
Oh yeah, that does happen a lot.
Happens
Like,
on lustrate too.
I hear it all the
That
time.
hasn't happened to me.
I'll be
I hear
honest
that
with
all
you,
the
I'm not paying attention to your
Usually
guys'
I
HP.
never saw that.
When
I mean, you pay attention to
I'm
damage.
I'm Black Mage. I'm not looking
You
at your
just,
guys'
like,
HP.
Fire.
I'll throw an eye.
Fire.
I'll kind of pay
Fire.
attention. I'm like, oh man, this thing's. I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, oh shit, this thing's got like 4 stacks. I'm gonna put an eye for an eye on the tank because the healer can't put it up. That's the only thing I ever look for.
Yeah.
Because I do have eye for an eye.
No, but your I-49 does help now.
Oh, I know it does
helps
help.
a
That's
lot.
why I try to do it.
It's very useful spell.
Mm-hmm.
Love that a lot of range people have.
But yeah, seriously, don't look at me to pay attention to your guys' HP because that's your job. That's not my
Yeah,
job.
true, shit, you're right.
And Ifrit Extreme, it's fun to kill everybody in your team. Because you get that Syrian wind.
Hi guys, how you doing?
The Syrian wind, and you can just like run into everybody and kill them all.
Just if you're mad at someone, like now he's like you can't like now people can't rage at the healer in Ifrit because
I know.
if the healer griefs, I can kill the whole
I
group.
could just kill everybody.
You wanna
I
piss
gotta
me
give
off?
healers some credit. I've been toying around just as a conjurer for a little bit, and just even healing a low-level party is seriously anxiety-inducing to me.
It is.
It happens a little bit, but it's also fun sometimes just because you feel like
Less
you like
stress.
it makes you feel like a very very vital member of the
You
team.
are.
Mhm.
There are times
You're
where
so vital.
you know it's like there are times where you know how sometimes you ever go to the mall and see a mom have that child on her leash, and the child runs too far and gets like pulled back because it can't run so far.
Aggro to the max.
Exactly. Like I feel like that mom holding the leash, where it's like, no, stupid kid, come back, and it's just like, all right, I'm gonna heal you or I'll revive you. It's like I'm just preventing you from doing stupid things, you know.
That is a wonderful analogy.
Thank you. I just thought of it.
You hear that, all you tanks out there? You're a child on a leash.
I wouldn't consider it. Sometimes it takes.
Mostly it's the DPS.
It's mostly DPS.
Yeah, it's mostly us DPS.
They stay.
I do get myself in some very stupid positions
Like on your
sometimes.
screen, when I heal
Well,
a tank, you
this
see the
one-
blue line going through him.
Yes. My favorite
How about
thing
when I'm
was
stealing
I'm
the-
disillusioned
It's like
by
Ninja
the
Mistake.
semi heavy armor a
Mhm.
Dragoon gets.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I could totally take everything. These plumes and Titan got it.
Right. Favorite thing is in early
No.
dungeons where there are times where like 3 members of the group want to just go to the dungeon, and 1 member wants to go into the room to get all the chests, and they decide to run in and aggro 3 enemies and instantly die. It's just like, why? If we're here, why would you run all the way over there to that room and then die? It's just like, I want the chest. Why?
At least say
The
something.
boss is right here.
Why do you
What
want
do
the
you-
chest?
Or announce that you're getting the chest.
Just
I know, at
announce
least
it.
say something instead of just running in there and
Was
dying.
he gonna get the rarest item on the mall? A potion?
Yes.
It's like
that X potion is so
if you've seen
important.
Sword Art Online, remember the scene where like where we have the group Kirito's with like the lower level group, and one guy decides to open the chest in the room with nothing.
Spoiler alert for Sword Art Online.
It's what's like the 3rd episode.
If you haven't seen episode 3 of Sword Art, stop listening now.
Right.
And wait till I say start listening again.
But then you're technically listening.
We'll throw an annotation in the YouTube video.
Start listening again.
Okay, let's discuss.
Like-
Okay, what are you saying?
It's like in the room where like there's the chest, and it's like there's nothing in the room. It's like, all right, I'm gonna open this chest. It's like, have you never played an MMO before? It's like, why would you run into the room with the chest? There's obviously enemies.
Hidden
in
room.
there.
There's obviously gonna be a trap too.
Always gonna be a trap.
It's a hidden room too. It's like a secret room. Like even the Kirito was like, guys, I don't think this is a good idea. No, it's good. We got this chest.
Then everybody
The
dies.
best thing is in Totodile into the one part where they get sucked in. They're like, oh, a chest, and then they get sucked
Yes.
in, and it locks them out and spawns like 4 enemies.
Yeah, that's always fun.
And then you're like, yeah, I can't get you out.
Oh, they're making that extreme too, I think.
No, they're not.
You sure?
No, it's already been announced. It's Halatali and Brave Fox.
Brave Fox,
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
gonna
what it
be
is, yeah.
intense.
Brave Fox is gonna be interesting.
Brave
as a
Fox
card.
is-
It's true,
going
and
to be-
it's called hard mode, Nick.
Yeah, come on.
Not to be nitpicky.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my
Just kidding,
bad,
I'm
my
just kidding, I'm just
bad,
kidding,
my
I'm just
god,
kidding.
guys.
Lit
Check
up
your
Primals
verbiage.
are extreme. Are they coming out with a
I'm just used to saying extreme.
Ultimate Weapon extreme?
Not yet.
Not
Ultimate
yet.
Weapon
I hope
extreme.
not.
I think when Ultima, if they do an extreme for Ultima, they're gonna wait for maybe like 1 or 2 more primals to come out, so you have like a mix of all these
Mhm.
primal attacks just constantly
God,
flying
so
at
many
you.
primals.
Pass.
Can you imagine? I just-
I think that would be very fun to
It
watch.
actually, like, I salivate a little bit.
I don't know. I
Not
love
for me.
fighting Ultimate Weapon. I know all the little tricks. Like I go straight to that like with the plumes and Ifrit thing. You
Right.
can, there's that one part where you can
Yeah,
literally
it's
stand
like
in the middle and not have to move. And you see all these people like running
to
in and
dodge
out, and I'm
or
like,
getting hit by
no, I'm
everything.
just standing still,
Yeah.
casting.
That's always fun. My favorite is with the Ultima is when then he does the 2 Ifrit plumes on like 2 random people. So like you have to like try to coordinate with the other person. Like again, you can't speak. Just like you just mentioned, not run into each other or into the group. You're just like running in
Oh,
weird directions.
I'm pretty awesome with that. I'll even like eat like 1 or 2 plumes.
You know, things like that. I mean, you can eat a plume or 2.
No, I'll eat like 1 or 2 to prevent from because I'll do anything to avoid running into the group. I'll even kill myself.
Yeah.
And, like if like the other person's running toward me, just so that way he doesn't run into the group.
Right.
Like I'll sacrifice myself for that.
Sprint is a very useful skill actually during that time.
Oh yeah, no.
That's when you're a
Definitely.
really, like person that relies on TV.
Oh yeah, when you're on TP, then it's not really the best idea. Well, we're healers. You don't need TP.
The best thing is
Same with
when
me,
they
I'm
do
a
the
caster,
plumes
I don't
there,
need to be.
when he does the Ifrit plumes there for
Yeah.
Ultima, and people just run right behind you.
Like, why?
Getting hit by
Do
everything.
not understand how this works.
It's gonna blow up on you.
Yeah.
I ain't stopping.
It's always fun. Or
Nor
tanks.
am I changing my direction.
I love when tanks decide they can't decide when to switch at 2 or 3 stacks. So then like you're wondering, you have to like very, very adamantly look at their HP bars to make sure they don't die. You know.
I'm trying to figure out which one's taking
Yeah,
damage.
who's taking
No
who's
pressure,
taking
no
aggro right
pressure.
now?
And both of them still tank as much damage. It's like, how does this happen?
It's a total face
Well,
palm.
it's a tank.
Mhm.
But yeah, So, I figure this is a good stopping place for today. Got some interesting insight on the life of the healer, among other things.
It's a very
Um,
interesting life.
Definitely hit that like, subscribe, favorite, all that stuff. Give us a reason to keep us doing this.
And if you don't like us, don't say anything. We have very, very small egos.
You can find us on Facebook and on Twitter. You know, in case you want to talk to us, suggest some conversation topics, blame us for ruining your opinions or spoiling Sword Art Online for you. Again, special thanks to Huskybythegeek for letting us use one of his remixes for our intro and outro songs on the show. We'll have a link to his YouTube page. He does really awesome covers of some video game music. You should definitely go check him out. And until next time, Eorzea, I'm John.
Nick.
Chris.
Ryan.
And see you next week.